Hi guys, and welcome back to Gardening Suburbia. I am Amanda, and today I'm going to go ahead and actually figure out what I'm going to be planning for the last half of this season. So today is July 19th, and that means I have exactly 90 days until my first frost, which is in October on the 17th. So that gives me 90 days to plant a fall garden. I did go ahead and pull all of my onions and garlic out the other day. They are curing in my basement as we speak. But I want to go ahead and plant some second succession items. We're going to go ahead and look through my seeds to see what I can plant in that time. I'm really hoping that I can get some sweet peas as well as some brassicas in there. But let's go ahead and take a look. So if we take a look into my seed collection, it's grown quite a bit in the last few, or really in this last season. I did a really big order from Botanical Interests just because they were running a sale. So I have a lot of beans, lots of beans, and I can go ahead and actually plant some of these. I've been really enjoying the fact that I've had so many beans. I would really like to plant a bunch of lettuce. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and plant some of this Napa Cabbage. It is a 50 to 55 day till harvest, and it is frost tolerant, so I could go ahead and get a good variety on that. Okay, so I think I'm also going to go ahead and plant some red Russian kale that I have saved here, as well as a lettuce or a muslin mix. I have quite a few of those. Now let's go ahead and look into our brassica section. Okay, so I think I'm also going to go ahead and plant some of my Sun King hybrid broccoli. I meant to do this earlier in the season, but just kind of forgot. And I might pull out some of my Copenhagen market cabbage as well. Okay, so I think I'm also going to go ahead and do a couple of different varieties of peas. So I have the Snap Sugar Daddy pea, the Super Snappy, and a Snow pea. And these are all going to go in my bed that has the bricks around that I pulled all of those onions and garlic out of. So just like that, I have a couple of different varieties of beans, snow peas, regular snap peas, broccoli, cabbage, lettuces, kale, and cabbage. So with 90 days left, there's still plenty of time to be growing a couple of different things, and I want to make sure that I'm using the full amount of time that I have outside in my garden to help preserve and put away food, as well as growing things that I know where they've come from. I know what was used on them, and I know how they were cared for. And just getting that kind of ease from knowing that I grew this food just makes it that much better. I love trying new varieties and getting the joy of just simply knowing that I grew it. Hi guys, it is future Amanda here. It is actually August 6th today. It is a little after when I initially wanted to put out this video, but it still doesn't mean that you don't have time to plant a fall harvest. So in my area, I have about 72 days left. This means I can still plant radishes, lettuces, and a whole bunch of summer squash. And the best part about seed packets is the amount of information that they hold. So if I pull out, say, a winter squash, so this is a spaghetti squash, on the back of this packet, it actually tells you so much information, and especially with botanical interests, the best part about them is that when you open up their seed packets, they actually have more information on the inside of the packet if you rip it all the way open. So there's more information on the inside of this seed packet in particular. So again, this is botanical interests. I went ahead and I placed a pretty large order with them a few months back, trying to bulk up my seed collection for the upcoming season, just because they were running a sale. So with my 72 days left that I have until the estimated first frost in my area of zone 6, I would not be able to put spaghetti squash out, just because it is a 90 to 100 day variety, and they are frost tender. So that means as soon as the frost comes, they all die and they're not going to bounce back. That's unlike brassicas, so like cabbage and broccoli. Those things can take a mild freeze. So you can go ahead and place like bed sheets or curtains or whatever you have on hand over the tops of them so that they don't get that hard freeze. So here in the next few days or tomorrow, I'm planning on actually ripping out my determinate tomato bed, just because they really haven't produced so much for me as my indeterminate tomato bed has. So I'm actually going to go ahead and plant a whole bunch of summer squash, because I kind of skipped on my summer squash this year for some reason. I have a whole bunch of cucumbers, and I think I actually have an acorn squash, but no summer squash. And I have so many different varieties of summer squashes that have, there's enough time to still grow them. So I have a scallop blend of the patty pan, which this is a beautiful blend. So this is the patty pan blend, again from Botanical Interests. These only have a 45 to 60 day maturity, which is more than enough time to get some more harvest out of these before my first frost. And then I also have this really cute Peter Pan blend from Burpee. This is only a 50-day harvest, so these are probably pretty small. So last year I had no success with my squash plants, and I didn't understand why until this year. One of the people that follow me on Instagram had actually said something about having trouble with squash bugs, and that the female blooms were not opening for her. And so when I started thinking about it, I didn't have enough pollinators in my backyard, and my female parts of my squash plants were not getting pollinated. And that was why I had these little itty bitty baby cute little squashes, and then they would just turn really like squishy and sad, and they would just fall off and die. And so this year my goal is to actually self-pollinate my squash plants. So the male and female parts of the squash flowers are just a little bit different. For the female portion of the flower, on the inside of it, it's going to have a portion called the stigma. So it's going to have several little bumps on the inside of the flower. And with that, and then also having the little baby fruit underneath of the flowers, what's going to be an indicator to you that is the female portion of the flower. With the male one, it's just going to be a long stem and then a flower. And the inside part is called the anther. It's just going to have a single little bump on the inside. So when you self-pollinate these guys, you're going to take the male flower off of the plant, remove the petals on the outside, leaving the anther on the inside, and then you're just going to go ahead and swivel that inside of the female flowers. This is going to go ahead and pollinate these flowers because the male flowers hold the pollen and the female flowers just hold nectar, which just kind of entices pollinators to come to them to pollinate them for you. If you're having trouble with having pollinators, hand pollinating is a great resource and option for ensuring that you get a harvest from whatever crop that you are doing. So I just wanted to pop back in here, and even though it has been 20 days since the initial vlog, there's still so much time left to plant some more, even just to experiment, if not anything else. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably put these in the ground tomorrow. I'm gonna go ahead and actually prune back my indeterminate tomatoes and pull out my determinate tomatoes and give my summer squash some space so that they can give me some more harvest, especially since I didn't really get to enjoy that many summer squash. Actually, I didn't get to enjoy any summer squash at all this year so far. And I'm really hoping that I will get some before the first frost, and I'm sure I will. Happy gardening, guys, and I'll see you next time.